Today, we have a couple of topics to get into, starting with one that comes just days after some unusual activity was spotted on Kendrick Lamar's pages across digital streaming platforms. On YouTube specifically, videos like Not Like Us and Luther vanished for several hours, then reappeared with view counts reset back to 0, and then hours later, everything was restored as if nothing had ever happened. As you might remember, this set off a wave of speculation about whether Kendrick has something planned around Ice Spice's release. We also have Joe Budden out here entertaining the idea of a clash between the two come the weekend, though some have argued that move could actually do more damage to Kendrick than anyone else. More on that in a moment. We also have Kid Cudi opening up about what the experience of collaborating with Eminem was really like. And we have filmmaker, actor, and artist John Waters addressing allegations connected to some of Eminem's more explicit lyrics from the late 90s and early 2000s. On top of that, Eminem's ex-wife is back in the news, and this time it ties directly into a report we covered here a few weeks ago. Before we get into all of it, keep the tradition going. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and jump into the conversation down in the comments section. Otherwise, I will find you. Jokes aside. Eminem's ex-wife, Kim Scott, has pleaded no contest to hitting a parked truck and causing it to move approximately 50 feet. Here's a quick breakdown to keep you up to speed. Kim Scott, the ex-wife of rapper Eminem, entered a no-contest plea to charges of operating a vehicle while impaired and failure to stop after a collision. The charges stem from a February 16th hit-and-run crash in Mount Clemens, Michigan, where she allegedly struck a parked truck while intoxicated. By entering a no-contest plea, Scott accepts a conviction on both misdemeanor charges without formally admitting guilt. Macomb County Prosecutor Peter Lucido emphasized the serious dangers of impaired driving, stating that these represented the maximum charges available based on the evidence presented. Scott has a prior history of driving under the influence incidents, including a 2015 crash that she later described as a suicide attempt, as well as previous drug-related arrests. This story prompted reactions like, "I feel bad for Kim. She's been through a tremendous amount and is clearly dealing with serious mental health and addiction struggles. People judge her far too harshly because of her past relationship with Marshall and the things he said about her publicly, and that is not fair. He was not perfect either. She deserves grace, and the best anyone can do at this point is genuinely wish her well." And we have Joe Budden out here flirting with the idea of Kendrick Lamar making a move on Ice Spice's release day.
It's not going to happen, but I got a wild imagination. So him doing that just got me on bullshit. I think that Kendrick is chilling somewhere. His beef is 2 years old. He's done. He's not thinking about this.
But
however,
the thought came to mind. It did. I said, yo, what the fuck?
He does have the chance to do the funniest shit in hip-hop history.
Drop a new album?
Drop the deluxe.
Yo, drop anything on Friday, Kendrick Lamar. I'm not telling him to do that because people as the academics gonna say that I'm hating on Drake and I'm rooting for his demise and yada, yada, yada. I'm not, but I do have an imagination and I did imagine this. I'm not gonna lie to my audience.
I did too.
Nah.
Now, he would not do that. I don't think he's doing that.
I think it could backfire. I think.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think it would work in his favor if he did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shit.
If he dropped the same day, I wouldn't have him winning that.
What is there to win? There's nothing to win.
I'm just saying, if you drop in the same time as me, you're doing that for a reason, and I'm going to outsell you. You lost that. I'm not talking about everything else. If Kendrick was to let's play it out. He was to do some bullshit and go and drop, not bullshit, but he was to go do some wild, outrageous shit and drop a surprise project the same day that Iceman comes out. Mm-hmm. I don't have him outselling Iceman if that happens.
It don't matter if he outsells.
What if he's not trying to?
Yeah,
what if he's not trying to?
But that's where the win going to be on Aaron.
No,
you tried to do this. You tried to step on my shit, and we still came on at number one.
And
that's how they're going to look at it.
I sold 400,000 albums, and my shit is back fighting for your position on the charts for the next year and a half. It's a win for me.
I don't want us to fight
we
over
had
my
to.
hypothetical. That
I had the same hypothetical.
I don't. Because then it make it look like I'm doubling down on having Punch on during Iceman week. And make it look like I'm trying to relive the battle.
That looked a little. I know how it happened.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be on my
half.
half. He happened to be in town for Met Gala. He said, I want to come up there and watch. He was coming up here to watch. I wasn't putting him on.
I know. I remember.
That's my word is bond.
They don't know that. That is the truth.
Amani Messier said, yo, you here? Can we please ask you some questions you want to talk? Punch said sure because he's going to say sure. And then he sat down and we asked him a bunch of questions. I thought it was great of him.
Interview.
I thought it was great of him to even deal with all that shit and answer all that shit. So I don't want to rehash the battle. Let the Drake fans, Iceman week, let them get in there. Let them have it.
Here is how it is playing out on X, and it is split exactly as you would expect. Kendrick is a parasite, so I definitely see that loser doing something like that, because that is the only way he stays relevant. On the other hand, Drake's fans in the rollout have been all about Kendrick. They were just spamming Kendrick's comments with ice block emojis. So we have a situation where Drake fans believe Kendrick's side is obsessed with Drake, and Here is how it is playing out on X, and it is split exactly as you would expect. Kendrick is a parasite, so I definitely see that loser doing something like that, because that is the only way he stays relevant. On the other hand, Drake's fans in the rollout have been all about Kendrick. They were just spamming Kendrick's comments with ice block emojis. So we have a situation where Drake fans believe Kendrick's side is obsessed with Drake, and Kendrick fans believe it is actually Drake's side that is obsessed with Kendrick. But what are your thoughts? And let us entertain the shenanigans for a second. Imagine if Kendrick actually dropped something on the 15th. Who ends up selling more, Drake or Kendrick? Share your thoughts below. And we have Kid Cudi speaking on what it was like working with Eminem on The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady, which dropped a few years back.
The Slim Shady, The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady, I thought was a moment. Because obviously it was during the period of when George Floyd happened, and I thought it was dope that Eminem spoke up on it, on the record.
Yeah.
Y'all two connecting makes perfect sense, but I never thought about it.
Eminem is my GOAT. And I just started him on that record, and I was like, let me just reach out and see what happens. And he was with it. You know? And like, we were texting each other and he was just like praising me. He's like, dude, that part on the song, you just bodied it. And I was like, yo, Eminem is like texting me, like showing me love.
That's fire.
Like on my verse, on our song. You know what I mean?
Too sick.
And it was truly one of the top 5 highlights in my career.
Yeah, man.
You know, I love Eminem. This culture loves Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a very down-to-earth dude. You know, he's a great example for people, you know, in the world that have dealt with things and are able to overcome them.
Yes. Yep.
That was a huge moment. I remember when his first album came out, the Slim Shady LP.
Yep.
I remember like listening to that shit in high school, like 9th grade, like over and over, like bumping that shit over and over, and like just being blown a fucking way by the level of skill,
right,
like that he had as a rapper, you know. And then also on top of that, the Dr. Dre production, and like it was just, come on. Man, I feel bad that kids wasn't around in the 90s. Like, did you see that? Like, I was there when Eminem dropped his first album, y'all. I don't know about y'all.
I was there.
But I was there. You was there.
I was there, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a moment.
You couldn't escape it. Like, he definitely had the whole scene when he came out.
He was, and then the Marshall Mathers.
And of course, some fans on social media expected more from their collaboration, but perhaps Eminem appearing on his podcast would be some consolation. Oh my God, and Kid Cudi got some fans pressed with his opinion. I can respect your top 5, but I have listened to him for the last 25 years and truly do not see how he is everybody's GOAT. And of course, some fans on social media expected more from their collaboration, but perhaps Eminem appearing on his podcast would be some consolation. Oh my God, and Kid Cudi got some fans pressed with his opinion. I can respect your top 5, but I have listened to him for the last 25 years and truly do not see how he is everybody's GOAT. Lil Wayne, Andre, and Kendrick rap circles him. Get your hearing checked. That man has more trash albums than good ones, in my opinion. And this is hilarious because the user heard Eminem is my GOAT and that collab was a top 5 moment and thought Kid Cudi had dropped the list of his top 5 rappers. And some have tagged Paul Rosenberg under the interview saying, Paul Rosenberg, do something fun. Fun? We do not use that word over here. And moving on, we have the classic story of what Eminem gifted Elton John making a comeback after filmmaker John Waters revealed something about Eminem.
He said the only person left I want to meet is Eminem, and he still hasn't called me, and I've said it for 2 years.
Why? What's the
What
deal?
do you think
is
I
his?
like him.
What do you think is his deal?
I'm all for him. Good. Maybe he's better than me.
I highly doubt that.
It's because he was.
He's not homophobic. He gave Elton John and David for the wedding matching gold rings. He's not homophobic.
He's not homophobic, but is that part of the fascination for you? Like that he was so rampantly?
I just like his record. And I used to go to this redneck bar in Baltimore where it was all white guys dressed like black rappers hung out. And every time I walk in, they'd play Puke by Eminem as a tribute to me.
Oh, wonderful.
So every time I walk in, they go, and I go, hi, and I'd sit down. So it was just a personal thing.
So did you get the Eminem of it all when he had first come out? Because I think as young gays, hearing him on the radio say things like and like, you know, like whatever, like stuff like that, I think it bothered us because we had our guards up. But you at that time hearing his music, it didn't bother you.
No, I thought it was
you were
like
entertained.
He was just causing trouble like we did. I don't know. Because it was just a white person being a rapper was so new and people hadn't seen that. And it was over the edge, but no, I always liked it.
Yeah.
You love something or someone who chafes something.
Who does something first and changes how we think about things.
Yeah.
Which he did do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Puke, you can play the record. Maybe you can play the record at the beginning of the show or put it under me. No.
We'll put it under. It'll score.
Blend it.
I think we can make it happen on this show. Eminem, if Eminem's team people are getting this, what would you like that encounter to be? Where would you want to be? What are you guys doing?
Oh, just in private, so we're not exploiting it.
Of course.
You know,
Come to P-Town,
I'm
Eminem.
friends with them. Yeah.
Yes.
They'll love you. I always
Sing
said
Puke to me, please.
This sparked a fresh round of debates on social media for obvious reasons. And it is wild how Eminem constantly gets singled out in the hip-hop genre as if he was the first rapper to use explicit lyrics, when pretty much every single rapper from that same era, including the usual suspects who appear on every top 5 GOAT list, was doing the same thing. And it only became an issue because it was coming from a white rapper, which at its core rooted in a form of racism, because somehow explicit lyrics were only considered acceptable when they came from black rappers. And that will do it for today. Drop your thoughts down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.